Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Football Amigos show. It's your boy Mide, as always. Welcome back to Game 26 predictions. We are excited, amigos, for another week of Premier League football. It's always fun to have those games come in, not just in the weekends, but of course during the week as well. Of course, Liverpool is the focus to start first on our list. Past their midweek game, they have, of course, part of March 26 predictions. They have a game against Man City on Sunday. We'd like to start with Liverpool first. Of course, our amigos are here with us. Amigo Sam, we will start with you. Liverpool is playing away to Man City on Sunday. Blockbuster game from a Premier League weekend. Everyone's going to be tuned in to that game for different reasons. Trying to see if Pep can overcome this Liverpool train that just keeps chugging along, or can Liverpool show another crack in Pep's glass, to be honest, with this team that offensively they're looking very good, right? With Omar Mamouche and with the inclusions they've made, it looks like the rebuild has started early for Man City, which again shows you how well run this club is, as opposed to their red neighbors on the other side of the fence. But that being said, do you think Liverpool has the right players, regardless of their weekend game, to topple down this Man City team?
Absolutely. Believe we have the manpower to take them down. You can also see the Pep is already starting to do some mind games here, right? I think this game is a big one for us. Of course, we played Aston Villa, but the more fresh legs that we bring back into this game will be outstanding for us. I'm not wearing blue today because I think we're going to lose. I should have worn my red and Liverpool jersey. I think this is going to be a tie for us at the minimum. Tie or we strike them down. They're not going to
Would you
give us 4-0. They're not going to do any of those craziness. Yeah.
would you think it would be a 2-2 game?
I actually see one of those games that is going to be less goals. Both team are probably going to have a good fight for the first 45 minutes. And halftime is probably when Pep shows up with his smartness and on his slot turns around and say, hey, you know what? I have the miracle wine. I got my guy Darwin Nunes shows up at 70 and equalizes.
No, that would be a sight to see. Seeing Nunes score, and of course, amigos, listening to our reactions to that game, the following week, and seeing how Sam explains himself from a Nunes standpoint. Ayo, from your perspective, is Man City on the charge back to where they are, or is this just a blip?
It's definitely not a blip. Uh, they understood the problem. Uh, Towards the last day, I thought they were going to still be in trouble, but I saw Nico Gonzalez play, and they're going to be fine. So everything that they've needed is just bring that control and decision making in the center of the field to manage transitions and to be a platform and a player to be a platform for the pace of their build up. And from what I saw in the Newcastle game, Nico Gonzalez, why not Rodri, is an excellent footballer. He made, I think, about over 100 passes, 97% accuracy. He presents that control. And when you have that control, especially when you're dealing with high transition teams, Liverpool, Newcastle being one of them, it really, really helps you get a hold of the game. And then on the other hand, Mamouche is a very unknown quantity because he kind of played like a little bit like a Bambi. He was not as coordinated as I would have expected. Someone who cost the amount of money that he did to be, but my God, is he clinical? He might be the most clinical player I've seen since maybe Salah. And so you create that confluence of control and clinicality, and then this game goes from being in Liverpool's favor to being a toss-up. Personally, I think the character of Liverpool will prevent them from losing this game. or just the mentality and character, especially if players like Diaz and Mo Salah can be fit. However, I do think that best case scenario might be a draw this game. And so I'll probably piggyback off your assessment of 2-2. I think that's fair. However, I do think that this would be a very, very dangerous game for Liverpool.
It'll be interesting to see Mamouche and Salah on the same field
Hmm.
and seeing how they go against each other in terms of performances, not literally against each other because the formation kind of intertwines, but seeing them from a performance standpoint, is it a change of the guard? Maybe, because they're from the same country. Is it a change of the guard? Prince becoming a king, king eventually moving on. We will see. I still think there's life in Salah, and it'll be interesting to see if the club keeps him for another year. A lot of exciting times, but I am going to sit and watch that game. Even though I'm traveling, I won't be driving, of course, and watching. But if I'm even traveling at that point, I will make it a point to watch that game because it's going to be a firecracker of a game, amigos. Like, share, and subscribe. Let us know how excited you are about that game. Let us know who what your predictions are and who's going to score them. We will move on to Everton and United. United is playing Everton away at Goodison Park. It will be the last time we play at Goodison Park because, of course, Everton unveiled their new stadium today, and some of the feedback I got was very encouraging in terms of what the fans felt about the opening. It was a more of a soft opening, it wasn't a grand opening. Soft opening of the field. Of course, they will be open in the summer and then, of course, in full operational mode in the next Premier League season. Everton are on a push right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat us 2-1, unfortunately. But then again, I'm seeing glimpses of us playing well on the ball. Maybe we just need to focus our entire week on finishing from a training session standpoint. That's what I would do if I was a coach, because it's glaringly obvious we cannot put the ball in the back of the net and use that opportunity to train my defenders and my goalkeeper to stop the ball from going into the net. It's pretty straight. It's pretty basic. At the end of the day, United's season always would depend on who they select. Now, even more interesting, we have 7 players averaging 17-year-olds on the bench. It'll be interesting to see if he plays the same players again, or Ericsson is back and we just use the kids in the second half. Personally, I would love to see the kids play, throw them in there. That was how we found out about Rashford. That's how we found out about uh, Garnacho and Kobe Mainor. Yes, it's a pressure cooker situation. Amram has no choice. He doesn't. He has to put those players in at some point. He cannot keep saying, "Oh, I didn't need to do it because I didn't see the point." No, you need to use them. You decided to let Anthony go, which Anthony has had his chances, but it seemed to me that maybe he was giving more chances again this season with Amaram. Maybe he would have done something. But then again, there's still a question mark over him. Rashford, I think, was a good decision. He needed to leave. If you're not going to be a player that wants to run and work hard, you don't get to play, no matter how good you are. It's as simple as that. That being said, Sam, do you think it's one of those games where everything's just going to steamroll United based on the manager push that they have with David Moyes, or do you think this is a game where United will truly start seeing the back of the net?
I honestly don't see United getting goals in this game. But for sure, it's not going to be a pushover for from Everton. I think United will stand their ground. But right now, they're not scoring, they're not defending. And back to your thoughts, that's the basic of football. If you don't want to lose, you don't concede. If you want to win or get goals, you score. Or if you want to get it tied, you score. So if United is not doing the basics well right now, they are not scoring. Definitely defense is terrible. Goalkeeper could be better. So I see them coming out stronger in that game after the Tottenham loss, but Everton is still gonna play them. Not just because the way they played Liverpool, but everything has been reignited. So I can see the minimum I'll see from this game is a draw,
Would it be
or the
1-1 or 2?
least. Oh, it's probably 0-0, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's going to be a very rough. Defenders in United are going to do too much, way too much than they should, that they have done in this season for them not to concede.
I will say this before we move on to Arsenal West Ham. Dogo's a goodbye. It's just his second, third game now, and he looks like an Amarin player in that system. The question will be how much of an impact can he be on as a wing back? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. He can only try to assist. The players on the other side of the ball has to actually put the ball in the back of the net. So a lot of things to look out for, but I'm not holding my breath on this United team until I see consistent changes. Moving on to Arsenal West Ham. They are playing on Saturday as well after United game. And again, this is an Arsenal team that they find a way to win even when they don't have their strikers because of injuries. It'll be interesting to see who starts up top in that number 9. I would throw Marino in there since he's on a roll right now. Just throw him in there, and then if he doesn't play well, then you can always move him back to his position and put someone else there. But I would keep it the same way. I think at this point, to me, I feel like Arsenal should play without stress because you have enough stress with less players in terms of quality in that attacking position. You have the ability and opportunity to just play without fear and just see what happens. Sam, you mentioned something about Arsenal, and especially in our last podcast. Ayo, based on how this game is going against a West Ham team coached by Potter, they've changed their style of play. They keep possession more. Do you think this is going to be a tactical battle between both teams? And what will be your prediction?
Well, I wouldn't want a team to just enjoy the games. Uh, I would like them to compete and do their best to win. But as a fan, that is my plan to just enjoy the game for the rest of the season. I won't put any pressure, what's it called, on the team as a fan because it's reached a point where you almost have to be realistic. But from their perspective, they need to go there and win. They're still playing at the Emirates. They still have their pride. West Ham are, I believe, in 16th or 17th position. And personally, even with since Graham Potter coming in, the games I've seen of them, they haven't filled me with a lot of confidence that their play style is going to improve. So I don't see why we can find a way to win this game 1 or 2-0. The problem is, though, is no matter what, to win games, you need players that are going to put the ball in the net. And with our usual suspects gone, we have to figure out a new way of playing that could be equally as effective as we've been in the past. And so you can see a lot of teething problems, especially if you watch a Leicester game, of still trying to figure out a chemistry that would work and also understanding how to get the best of Sterling because no matter how bad he's played this season, he is still, at least reputation wise, a great English player. He is still, hopefully has quality left. He still has great qualities that we could try and maximize. And the goal is to see a way of activating him because it's either him, Trossard, and Waneri, and there's not much behind that. And so we got to figure out a way. I would hope that Arteta can figure out how to use our wing backs and push them forward. I think I would like to see what Tierney can be done if you play like a 5-3-2 and see how that could work. And so we won't need to have as much personnel offensively and use 1 or 2 players and see how we make that work. Other than that, I'm just going there to watch. I hope we win. I know it probably won't be pretty, but I hope we win. Yeah. And so I'm going to go for 1-0. Yeah.
Sam, I'd love to hear your thoughts about West Ham. But Ayo, I do have a question. What has come of Raheem Sterling?
Um, I think it's someone explained it to me. It's I think probably Rashford is going through this. There's a type of player where if your game revolves around physicality or physical characteristics, once that starts to fail, you have to go through a problem, a period of reinventing yourself, really. And I think we got Raheem at the wrong time, where his pace, his ability to create that separation is not quite what it used to be. His reading of defenders, his dynamism is not what it used to be. And then he has to get to a point where is he even a winger still?
Hmm,
You
good
know,
point.
in this phase of his development. And unfortunately for us, he's trying to figure it out while we need someone to get on the pitch and be effective. So I'm not necessarily sure it's the end of him, but I don't think it's just a physical decline. Like you think about wingers, just rely on pace. Once that pace goes, the other side of your game has to be well rounded out, and I don't think his game is as rounded out to carry him through. So he might have to go down to a much lower league to keep playing, but it's difficult. However, his exit from Chelsea was very tumultuous. Probably took a very big toll on him. The way he has been treated personally by the English media has not been very fair. That has to take a toll after a while, and then going to a team where we didn't necessarily want him. He was a panic acquisition because we couldn't find anyone, and so we didn't really have a plan for him specifically. We just know that Arteta has used him in the past, so I'm not really sure how much our game is willing to accommodate his best qualities, and we're just trying to have him to play the role we would like our own player, like a Martinelli or a Saka to play, where maybe that's not Sterling's game. And so I feel if he goes to a team that plays to his best quality, he would do better and there'll be an uptick. But for us, we just need to figure out, at least in this few 3-4 months, how to. We might have to adapt to him, which is a strange thing to say because of how unproductive he is. But we might have to adapt to him. But I think it's more of that than it is like, oh, he's washed now, per se.
Sam, should he have left Liverpool in the first place?
Absolutely. I think it was at his prime, and the opportunity came. I think he should take it. Back to what I said, I think Raheem Sterling was an excellent player. He's still an excellent player. I think what I think when I heard that question is lack of confidence due to environmental situation. Like I mentioned, the media has not been fair to him. Even as he was transitioning from Man City going into Chelsea, it was not a. I mean, you're coming off from Liverpool, Man City, now you're back at Arsenal. What are you doing around? No player jogs around top six or top five like that, right? So, but hey, that's it. His job is to play football and feed his family. Leave him alone. So now back in the Arsenal's dressing room, yes, it wasn't like we really need this guy before we get him. It was just like, oh, it's why not? Why not? And he shows up. It seems like there's no plan. When you show up on the field in that kind of scenario, you're struggling with two things. I want to use my time well, this little time that I have, and also what is the next thing that I would do that Liverpool fans will not talk about, the Man City fans will not talk about, the Chelsea's fans will not talk about. We all see it every game, just like Sancho now. The other day he had a terrible game, and everybody, Chelsea fans, are like, "Oh,
The
oh."
freedom fighter?
Yeah, like, how do you play this many games and you didn't do nothing? So all of these are fed players, but we also cannot dismiss that we also decline as human beings. Like I mentioned, the pace is no longer there. For him, it's kept he's kept himself healthy a lot. He's had minimal injury compared to other players. But what that also means is you have all this game time. You're going so like from one game to the other, back to back, and Man City didn't look like a Jurgen Klopp team that always go medal to medal, but they were like that too. A lot of people don't allow it, but they are always on it. So these players are tired. Um, you can be tired and be playing well, but it also now goes back to your environment. Are you being appreciated? Are you being cherished where you are? Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He's played so many games. He's taking care of himself, but he's in a place that is appreciated. He has more game time. He's grown into the fan base. He's grown into the formation and all of those things. So I don't want to take too much of our time. I think Raheem Sterling is probably one of the players that will get us Arsenal back on track. Not like they have lost anything that in the last few games due to injury, but if there's any player that can get him back on, it will be Raheem Sterling, maybe one area as well. Now the question is, how do you use these guys that are fit to the point that they make your team better and they themselves find value in the game? They use the game time that you're giving them, so to their own advantage. Yeah,
Exactly. Awesome, awesome analysis, everyone. Of course, amigos, like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on those three games that we have. Huge, huge games, especially with the projection of how the season is going to play out. We have, if my calculations are correct, we have about 13 games left in the season in terms of Premier League specifically. It'll be interesting to see how these teams, based on what they have, plan out or play out how their season will end. That's the fun and the glory of the Premier League. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. Thank you all so much for your time. Really appreciate it, amigos. Like and subscribe. Let us know your comments as well and your predictions for all three games. We'll see you in the next content. As always, stay positive, amigos.
stay positive, man. You're
Bye,
not a fan,
amigos.
you can join Liverpool.
No, no, that's not happening. No.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Bye,
Bye, guys.
amigos.